No, listen. I want to say that I am sorry for being caught out for being corrupt. The last thing I wanted was for it to be revealed that I am not, in fact, a speaker who is impartial, but I am just as partial and just as corrupt in favour of the Labour Party as was my predecessor, John Bercow. And I want to make it clear that I am sorry that everyone has realised that I'm corrupt, and it may mean that I have to lose my extremely well-paid job. Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Jolly Heretic. Now, if you're not British, you may not know about this, but there is chaos at the moment in the British Parliament because it has been revealed that the Speaker, who is supposed to be completely politically impartial, is in fact, not that surprisingly, highly partial towards his own party, the Labour Party. And as you would expect me to say, but it really is true, this corruption, this increasing corruption in British politics can ultimately be basically explicable in terms of issues such as intelligence and related issues. And that's what I want to explore today. But before I do that, if you're new, please remember to subscribe. It helps me most violently if you do that. Subscribe here, and just as importantly, subscribe over on my Substack, jollyheretic.com, where you will get all of the spiciest content that I can't put on YouTube, where you will get in-person videos, where you will get vlogs, where you will get updates of all kinds, and where you can, of course, support my stuff, my stuff for as little as the price of a pint of beer a month. So go over there, subscribe, and preferably become a paid subscriber. Right, back to the video. So what's going on in British politics? Well, there was a debate, a opposition day debate, where the opposition party, in this case the Scottish National Party, were able to put forward a motion to be voted on by members of Parliament. The motion they wanted to put forward was that the war in Gaza basically, should end or whatever, that there should be a ceasefire, or basically a pro-Palestinian motion. This being put forward, all members would have to vote on it, and how they voted would be public. This would mean that Labour members would have to vote on it, and how they voted would be public. This is a problem, because a lot of Labour members represent poor areas of the country where there are high numbers of Muslims. And if they voted to continue with the war, which is basically, that's the policy of Labour, then of course they would lose the support of those Muslims at the next general election, and they would be in trouble. But if they voted to stop the war, then they would lose the support of various other groups within their, perhaps in their constituency, or various influential donors or whatever, and so they would be in trouble as well. And so Lindsay Hoyle, who is the independent speaker but was formerly a Labour MP, intervened to stop that vote from happening, or to interfere with that vote, and therefore to ensure that the Labour members did not have to vote on that issue. So that's what happened. That's corruption. And this was particularly shocking because Parliament it's almost semi-taboo, but Parliament has kind of admitted that there was a long period under John Bercow where he was manifestly corrupt. Even though he was a Conservative MP, he had he had a kind of Damascene conversion, essentially started supporting the Labour Party, was elected with the support of Labour MPs. His wife was a member of the Labour Party, and he was utterly anti-Brexit, and he was clearly extraordinarily biased in favour of the Labour Party and extraordinarily biased against Brexit, and upended all kinds of procedures and just undermined everyone's confidence in the independence of the Speaker. And the Speaker before that, Michael Martin, had to go. He lost the confidence of the House because there was an expenses scandal in which it was revealed that almost all MPs basically were corrupt and were fiddling a system which was allowing them to supplement their salaries by claiming for expenses in complicated ways on second homes and so forth. And he, rather than he oversaw that whole thing, which then humiliated Parliament and humiliated lots and lots of MPs who thought that they were in private fiddling the system, and then it was all revealed. And rather than try and deal with it, he wanted to work out who would leak the information and to punish them, which made things even worse. He basically wanted to keep Parliament corrupt, and so he had to go as well. He lost the confidence of the House. So we have now 3 speakers in a row that have lost the confidence of the House for being basically either pro-corruption or being partial to the Labour Party. Now, I would argue that what ultimately underpins this sort of thing and this change is to some extent intelligence changes. We know that we are losing 1 point of IQ per generation. or something along those lines, per 10 years, or something along those lines. And what that means is that we get lower and lower and lower in trust, because people that have high intelligence, they are able to notice little, perceive the details of people and work them out and understand them and comprehend how they think and that kind of thing. Putting in personality aside, which is a separate issue, that's controlled for, and therefore they are less likely to be conned, and so it pays to trust people because you can make alliances and you can develop things and whatever. So it pays to trust people. If you are low in intelligence, then you will be less able to perceive these things and you'll be more likely to be conned, and so it's better to trust nobody. Now, democracy is contingent on an optimum level of trust. Too high trust, and you don't question your leaders, you just believe everything they say, and so democracy doesn't work. But too low trust, and you don't trust the other side. You think the other side will come in and try and destroy you. And you'll be right to think that, because the other side will fundamentally distrust you, and they may well come in and try to destroy you. And so that's why a belief in democracy seems to be associated with intelligence. Similarly, the ability to rise above your feelings. I mean, everybody is partial. Everybody in Parliament is partial to their political party. But the ability to rise above your feelings, to have the effortful control, to rise above what your instincts are telling you to do, which is to support your party, and have the honourable, view of being impartial. This is very difficult, and this takes the kind of control that is associated with intelligence. And also, this requires trust as well. It means that you have to act in the interests of impartiality, not your side, and so this requires that you fundamentally trust the other side. Now, as all of this breaks down, we would expect trust to collapse in the UK and to collapse in Parliament. And I think this is what we are seeing, and therefore they are unable to elect a speaker who is not partial and who is not corrupt. And this is what we have seen with 3 speakers in a row. The other thing that makes it worse, according to Robert Putnam's research, is a multicultural society. This means that trust collapses there's limited trust between the ethnic minorities and the majority.
Are you ready for the future of the West?